I really think I'm settling into my old man phase of my hobby wargaming journey, I guess. And more recently, I've been watching old battle reports, second edition 40K battle reports, and they're usually within like the last couple of years. And watching, old games, the broken mechanics, overpowered things, these were a lot of mechanics that by today's standards, I think most gamers would absolutely um, just not be able to stomach just how swingy and overpowered things happen in second edition 40K. But you know what? I absolutely loved watching them. Um, and I may veer into another topic for another time, but uh, for right now, I actually want to talk about something different. And this is another old game. I've been playing old games lately because, again, I'm going into my old man gamer phase. But I've always had this really interesting relationship with Warmachine. I tried Warmachine, I want to say 2010 or 2011, long time ago. Um, and Retribution of Syra had come out. So you War Machine history buffs will know what year that was. They had come out fairly recently, and they looked very different from everything else in War Machine at the time. So, I was fresh out of Games Workshop, basically playing nothing but Blood Bowl, no other Games Workshop games at the time, and looking for that independent game. And obviously, War Machine was, at the time, probably the second biggest game in town. So I bought myself a Retribution of Syra army, and I bought Adeptus Ron, painted it all up, had the Ron, whatever his tier list. I forget how they did them, but it was just a bunch of bald elves with power fists doing the hula. And it and for what it was, a lot of the models we feel are kind of goofy and dated in those sculpts. And I hated the idea of like weird elves that weren't sleek. They had these big goofy hands and didn't have long flowing hair. They were bald, you know. Anyways, I painted it all up and actually did really enjoy putting together and painting all of that. And went to one of the local gaming stores to play. And yeah, that's where everything kind of went downhill for my initial War Machine journey. It was basically two guys sitting there in the shop, and they had just piles and piles of gray blobs of minis, lined up across from each other. They set up all their pieces, and then they proceeded to argue for like 2 hours straight. Didn't see a single piece move. I was kind of like waiting around the store, kind of wandering, hoping out somebody else would show up for a War Machine, with my cool like painted army like hidden away. Um, and they just argued their way through a theoretical game. Didn't roll any dice. Um, Determined who the winner was and packed up and left. I might be exaggerating on the 2 hour thing, but they were there for some time. And I'm telling you, at no point did they actually ever play the game. Had some other experiences too, trying to learn War Machine. And let's just say it was quite a jump, and there wasn't a good transition, and it was such a clearly competitive, highly technical, highly detailed game that, um, any foray into the game felt like falling into the deep end. And again, probably my biggest gripe at the time was the absolute lack of emphasis on hobby or aesthetics. So it was fairly rare back then to run into fully painted armies. Um, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. I just, that's not the experience I want. And I hate to be like kind of rude that way, because I know, not everybody has the time or the ability to paint through a large army, and they want to play a larger war game. I get that. But for me, it really does kind of pull me out. And, judge me as you like for that, but it really, yeah, it really kind of sullies my experience. So after 2 to 3 failed attempts at Warmachine, it all went back in the box and eventually got sold. And it was a fleeting memory. It went away for quite a while. I've played, I don't know, probably 40 to 50 other systems between then and now. And yeah, this game has somehow ended back up on the radar. There were a number of friends that are old Warmachine players, and there was great crossover from Guild Ball, which was actually probably the most important system or event to happen between, my first foray into Warmachine and now, was playing Guild Ball and really learning the precision game and learning this game that was just, you know, created by fans of Warmachine. And so the guys that created Guild Ball, hey, guess what? They bought the, limping along Warmachine Mark IV. And yeah, Warmachine Mark IV obviously was pretty painful for the Warmachine community. At least that's what was relayed back to me by, some prominent press gangers that are good friends of mine. And, people had kind of fallen out of Warmachine towards the end of Mark III, and Mark IV just did not have the splash that they hoped it would. But here we are. A friend of mine in our gaming group that's played at least 25, 30 different systems with us started playing Mark IV, was interested in getting people into playing it. And I was like, yeah, I've got a really great gaming group. And, for what it's worth, I really did have fond memories of putting together that Ret army and putting it on the board and seeing it all painted up and putting the focus down and then having just blocked out the bad experiences that happened after I allocated focus. But, it's different this time around. And here's the weird thing too. It's the game being dying and being absorbed by Steamforged. Yeah, that for whatever reason I seem to love these like dead or dying games. You guys know that. Like the minute a game is in trouble, like, oh hey, I better go play that. So that was another thing, another factor here in picking up Warmachine. And yeah, after kind of mulling over the newer things to come out, I really wasn't impressed by the designs, and I loved the old Ret aesthetic and found a deal and bought some minis and bought more minis, and frankly didn't spend that much money. I was actually pretty happy buying the secondhand army and restoring it and rebuilding it and reconfiguring it for Mark IV. That part was really exciting because it's like, oh man, I never had a colossal, and I've always kind of admired it from afar. I thought it was silly to carry around such a giant miniature, but hey, let's buy one. There, who knows how much longer this stuff is gonna be around. So I bought one of those, and a buddy of mine helped me get a trident, and I got the casters that I wanted to play. Sadly, my man Ron Stoppable is gone, not in Legacy Prime, sadly, but I got to play the other two casters that I'd never played and was interested in as well. So, Viros 2 and Assyria. Assyria is just fantastic sculpt. And then, hey, I found Mini Crate. Wow. And I was like, wow, there's a Mini Crate Assyria that's super cool. She looks like Rasputina. I like that a lot. There's also a Mini Crate Lanissa. I bought that too. So I've got I have like a lot of Warmachine right now, and I've been playing it, and so far I've been enjoying it for what it is to me. I love the tightness of the rule set. I can understand why. Now I can. Having the Guild Ball background. Now things make way more sense to me for Warmachine. But I will be honest and say it's not without the things that I just don't like about the game, and it's mainly the size. And I'm always complaining about large war games. You guys know that. I like to play Legion Skirmish, and not many people want to play Legion Skirmish. I want to play like smaller games of everything. I like Malifaux as a smaller game. I don't want to play 50 Soulstones. I want to play 35. You guys know that. Been playing Blood Bowl lately. Don't want to play Blood Bowl 11s. I want to play Blood Bowl 7s. I just like that shorter, exciting experience, and then I want to move on with life. But a lot of these games are they just still feel super crunchy to me. It feels like, guys, we don't need a 2.5 hour game that's just grindy on a big old table with all your toys. Like, make decisions about what toys you want, put those down. Let's play for 60 to 90 minutes and move on with life. That's just how I roll, guys. But anyways, that's where I'm at with Warmachine. I did really enjoy putting my Red Army together. I would love to record something, but nothing like technical. I think that's one of the issues I had as well, was just, it's great that everybody's super smart and everybody is really good at the game and we can talk super technical. I realize I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite here because my Guild Ball match reports are pretty technical. I don't want to sound, I don't want us to sound like we're disarming a bomb. I just want to enjoy. That's why I've been watching these second edition 40K battle reports, because as silly and as swingy and overpowered as everything is, at least it's narrative, right? At least, and yeah, those are super long games and they're super big and the game mechanics are super complicated and take too long. I get it, but it's narrative. Like it's immersive. And I don't know. I love Warmachine for what it is, but I also want to feel like it's a little less, what's the word? Just over technical and a little immersive, a little imaginative would be nice too. But yeah, I'll just say I'm enjoying it for what it is. It's interesting that I'm playing a big army game, and still having, the same struggles I have with size of game and kind of the repetitiveness, the grindiness of it. But for what it's worth, I can appreciate enjoying the collecting and building and painting up part, putting together your army and seeing it on the battlefield. That's always been my favorite part. I just, guys, if we're going to play this like highly technical, highly competitive game with a really clean format, I want my overall experience to be shorter than 2 hours. That's just me. I get it. That's a me issue, but for what it's worth, I've been enjoying the early games of Warmachine I've been playing. Am I giving it the kiss of death? Maybe. A lot of the games that I really enjoy, they tend to die. But if I kind of like/dislike a game just enough, like say Malifaux, it doesn't die. See, so maybe we're okay. Maybe I didn't give Warmachine the kiss of death because I'm not like absolutely in love with the game. But I'm having fun for what it is. Would love to get some more content out. Yeah, I have an old army that's probably going to get discontinued at some point, but that's the aesthetic I like, and I'm just enjoying it for what it is. So anyways, I wanted to include my comments here and discuss it. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm playing Warmachine. And yeah, for the most part, I am enjoying it. So let's try to capture some of that. And I'll just stop my rambling here, but wanted to get your thoughts on Mark IV, where you think it can go. Do you think it's going to die? Do you think Steamforged is just going to own these two like nearly dead games between Guild Ball and Warmachine? But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.